another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy.
Don't welcome to the episode yet. We gotta do the intro music thing. Are you kidding me?
I did, yeah. All right, let's restart it.
You wanted me to restart the recording too?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
From Provo, Utah, this is the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast with your hosts, Joseph DeGolier and Caleb Schweitz. This is Ultima Final Fantasy.
Welcome to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast. I am Joe.
And I'm Caleb.
And today we're going to be doing part 2 of the history of Square-Enix.
Oh, very nice.
An idea sent to us by someone on our forum whose name I forgot, but I will get back to you on part 3, I'm sure. Well, Caleb, where are you in Final Fantasy 12 right now?
Right now in 12, I am just doing a bunch of endgame stuff. I just barely finished. Well, not just barely. It's been a little bit, but I've got one more hunt left. I've taken down Elder Worm. Or not Elder Worm. Whatever the guy is. He's the Hellworm. Hellworm, that's the one.
Okay.
He's got like 7 or 3 million, something like that. I don't even remember. It's a lot. No, I think it's 8. Anyway, I took him down. I've been taking down the Espers. I've got all but Ultima and Zodiark. And the last little bit, I've just been doing rare game hunting and trying to fill out the bestiary a little better. What about you?
Well, I am doing as I promised. I am doing all the hunts, and I've gotten 20-something hunts. And I'm going to go till I beat Yzman. Then I think I'll try whatever the super boss of the game is. What's his name?
Omega Mark 12.
Omega Mark 12. I think I might try doing that. I'm not going to make any promises, though. Either way, I do believe we have 1 week, and then the next week after that will be
In 2 weeks.
the Final Fantasy 12 review episode.
Yeah.
So, if you want to tell us your thoughts on Final Fantasy 12, or if you have any Final Fantasy 12 related questions, please post them in our forum at ultimafinalfantasy.boards.net, or you can just go to ultimafinalfantasy.com and click the forum link.
It's true, but that's not the only place to find us, is it, Joe?
No, it's not the only place to find us. You can find us at youtube.com/ultimafinalfantasy. You can find us at Twitter at UFF Podcast, Facebook.com/UltimaFinalFantasy, Patreon. If you wish to support the show, and if you wish for more Dave Mustaine covers, which there should be a cover coming soon, he is working on it. In fact, he laid down a little bit of track last week.
Nice, yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, he's working on the drum. In fact, I do believe. Never mind. I don't think I can show anybody any of the stuff yet, but it's coming soon. Maybe a little sneak preview.
Okay.
At some point. If you wish for more Dave Mustaine covers, or if you wish for us to redo our website, or if you just want to be a fantastic human being and help us support the show, please go to patreon.com, search Ultima Final Fantasy, and you'll find us there. And we could use your support.
Yeah, definitely.
And see all this stuff here. We could use some. I realize now we could probably use some soundproofing of some kind in this corner. Maybe make it a little bit more pleasing to the eye for the Twitch audience out there. Which, by the way, we are now streaming our episodes live on Twitch. So I'd say around Saturday morning, around 12 o'clock. You think?
Yeah, that's probably about right. That's what it is right now, at least.
Okay. So let's make that official, Caleb.
All right, Saturday at noon.
Saturday at noon, Mountain Standard Time. So if you're in California, it's an hour earlier, I believe. So 11 o'clock Pacific.
Yes.
And then whatever Eastern is.
It's 1 and then 2 hours for Central and then Eastern.
Okay.
So 2 hours ahead. So it's 2 p.m., but,
So
you can figure it out.
11 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Mountain. Who knows what Arizona's is? Central is 1 o'clock, and then Eastern is 2?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you guys are in the States, at least you know what time we're going to be streaming at. So get on our channel and wait for us there, and we'll start the show with you. And maybe in between the intro and the episode discussion, we could talk to you guys a little bit.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool if we had people show up.
Yeah, if we had more than like 2 viewers at a time.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Let's see. You can also, find us at twitch.tv/Ultima Final Fantasy. You can find us there. And, of course, all this information, all these links and our forum stuff, it's all on our website, ultimafinalfantasy.com.
Yes.
Yes.
It's an amazing website. Well, sort of, but...
Oh, man. Not too much longer, and we're going to be starting Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you excited about that?
I am excited about that. I'm excited to go back to 13. It's been a long time. It's been a long time.
It has.
All right, Caleb. You got the news jingle pulled up for us?
Yeah, but first...
But first, you got to move the screen around for our Twitch audience out there.
Move the screen around a bit.
Nah, dude, we moved the TV or the second screen way closer because I'm so blind.
Okay.
And yeah, shit gets messed up. So.
Okay.
Let's do some news though.
I don't know what happened there. Some kind of electronic glitch?
Yeah, that was really weird.
was really weird.
First up, with the release of Heaven's Word, I mean, most of the time when you get an MMO release, you expect new classes and new things to play, right? Well,
And there were some new ones with Heaven's Word.
yeah, but don't expect any more new ones anytime soon.
Okay. Is that the name of the article here on Silicon Era?
It's exactly the name of the article. Here
Were
on
people
Silicon Era.
expecting to have even more? I mean, there was the Al Ra, and there was some other classes, I believe.
Yeah, I think they were expecting more, apparently, because people were asking them about, if they're going to have any more rolled out during the 3.0 series. And they said no.
So while during Heaven's Word's reign, no more new classes or jobs.
Yeah, none are planned, at the very least.
I believe here that on the article it says new jobs will probably be introduced in 4.0.
Yeah.
However far away that is.
Yeah, we have no idea.
That's like a big project.
There's no sort of announcement for any of that, but and I mean, there's going to be more enemies. They plan on adding more things from Final Fantasy 11, which whatever, that's fine. And yeah, I guess there's no more classes for a while. Doesn't really matter to us quite yet because we're not into 14 yet, but I don't know. We might be bummed out.
So that's probably the biggest news of the week. What else we got here? Oh, not the last thing. I'm looking at the screen here.
This one works.
Okay.
So we got Kingdom Hearts 3 news is set for the D23 Expo in August. So, I mean, we're going to be...
Some more Kingdom Hearts 3 stuff.
Yeah, and that's at the Anaheim Convention Center.
I like how our
California.
news is that there's going to be news in the future.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of it, actually. Going back and listening to some of the news segments, and I've been listening to the news because someone was talking about how it's kind of changed. And a lot of it is talking about giving us news at a later time. It's really weird. They're like,
Okay.
oh, we're going to announce this specific date. So we'll be seeing more KH3. There's going to be a bunch of other games featured in there, one of which I am much more excited for than Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, what's that?
Star Wars Battlefront.
Ah, okay.
Those games are awesome. But yeah, we'll be hearing more about Kingdom Hearts 3 here in the near future. And another cool thing about 14, the freaking Alexander raid. I actually was talking to...
multi-part raid. Huh,
yeah,
for
multi-part
Alexander.
raid. And Krenital was talking about it, and he was like, this bastard, he's crazy. And he said it was just awesome trying to do this boss battle. I know we saw some of the stuff for Shiva I've seen, and then we saw, some of the Bahamut fights when we were at the convention. And people were all, that looks awesome. But I was just like, it looks cool, but I have no idea what's happening.
In other news, no convention this year.
No convention this year?
No.
For us?
Yeah, for us, no.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the 14... yeah, they don't have anything this year.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they just had a Final Fantasy convention, like just Final Fantasy as a whole.
That'd be sweet. I think Square-Enix should definitely do that, and I think they do really well, and I think they should do it in Las Vegas again.
Yeah, that's a great place to do stuff like that, because it's close to us.
Because it's not Los Angeles.
Yes. And, so cool. Well, that end, one of the things that bugged me about going off topic, well, not really off topic, but with the 14 convention, one of the things that really bothered me is how many people never played the main series games that I was talking to. Like, they didn't care.
Well, they were mostly MMO players that a lot of them had played 11 previously. And surprisingly, with those 4,000 people that were there, they were a lot of 11 players that had gone on to 14 and actually had lived through 1.0. So it's not that like they had never played the main series; they had played 11 and 14.
Right, but there were a lot of them that were.
But they never played, 6 or 7.
Yeah, I was talking to
I get
them.
ya.
They're like, "Oh, what game?" I was like, "What Final Fantasy do you guys play?" And they're like, "Oh, just 14." I was
Just
like,
14,
We're
yeah.
doing a podcast on the whole series. They're like, "Oh, I only care about 14." I'm like, "Okay, you're really messing
Let them.
out."
Hey,
but-
you know what? Let them play. I mean, we're gonna get to 14 here relatively soon. I mean,
Yeah, a month and a half
2 more months.
or 2.5 months. Sorry.
Yeah,
We'll,
2
start
months.
14.
2 months and 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll start 14.
So I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll abandon the rest of the series for 14. Be the new limit break.
So, is there San Diego Comic-Con news about Final Fantasy Type 0
Yeah, there's going to be a PC that's going to be playable on PC for
the Comic-Con?
for the Comic-Con.
Which I believe is going on either now or stopped. So this news might be a little late.
It might be. Let me see. I don't know. We didn't do news for like 2 weeks, so
Yeah, so this is catch-up time.
yeah, July 9th to 12th. Yeah, that's pretty
Okay.
old. So apparently there's a PC.
There
playable
was
demo. and
And for you guys at the San Diego Comic-Con, I'm sure you guys enjoyed it. So
yeah, I mean it looks about the same. I don't know if they really updated much of the
Mm-hmm.
graphics. I don't think they would have because they didn't for the PS4 release. So
a lot of Final Fantasy 14 news.
there is.
Should have
Yeah,
just grouped it together.
Probably,
a
but-
new Heavensward patch, 3.01. Is this the first patch for Heavensward?
I believe so. Yeah.
So
I don't
this
think they've-
includes that new raid of Alexander, along with a number of adjustments to job actions as well as known issues with the game.
Yeah, there's some patch notes on the game's official website if you guys want to read any of that. I don't.
And it looks like there's some new content other than that also, like a Chronicles of a New Era quest,
Yep.
which
So
requires you to complete the main scenario of Heavensward. So, yeah, look up information on that if you're a 14 player. Honestly, if you're a 14 player and you're getting your news from us,
yeah, you're probably doing it wrong. Now this one I thought
I
was,
highly recommend Limit Break Radio. They're pretty friendly to us. So,
yeah, it's pretty
check 'em
cool.
out.
They're a lot more 14 heavy. So this one was pretty funny. I almost didn't include it, but it's kind of cool. So you remember that lightning strike minigame in 10?
yes.
Some dude has built a robot like out of freaking Kinect pieces to actually do the clicking of the X.
It's how?
We can see.
What?
Yeah. He just moves and it's timed.
There must be some kind of.
All he has to do is walk over to the thing and it hits the X
way.
button. Yeah.
So
I
he's
mean-
basically at that one spot with the 2 circles on the ground where
Right.
you run back and forth. So he has that timed with his finger, but he has the button press timed with the Kinect.
Yeah.
That is something interesting, right
Yeah,
there.
that would have been a little bit easier.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know. Personally, once you find that spot, it becomes really easy, I think. But ingenuity, I guess. I remember you had something with your... I remember a freaking crappy YouTube video you threw up with 7 where you were power leveling
I did block that video later because
Oh. because you started a podcast and we're ashamed of it.
I started a podcast, so there are many videos on my YouTube page that I was just like, no.
Basically, you had a clamp down on the circle button
I
and we're just auto-attacking and
had 2 clamps.
the
down.
D-pad one, yeah, because it was your guy was going in a circle in the woods.
I was going in a circle, and then I had one clamp down on the D-pad, like you were saying. Then another clamp down on the circle button. And in 7, you can actually just hold down the attack button and it'll go.
Yeah.
And so I was going in a circle, and every time they'd get into a fight, and it was a low-level area, every time they would get into a fight, they would just attack. But I had arrows set, because you're going that way, like you'll automatically do a limit break.
Mhm.
Eris's healing wind would also go up
So
after
yeah,
a while.
you'd get it. So you wouldn't die.
Yeah.
So this is a long time
This is a
thing you've been
theme.
having. Yeah. A Joe theme.
If you listen to last week's episode, there's definitely a theme going on. Which, by the way, level 90 in FF12, I got through like the second half of the story in 3 hours.
Yeah, it's not a very long game, really.
Story-wise, it's not.
Like I saw a speed run of it that was 6 hours. And
That's impressive.
yeah, I don't think I could do that, but it's 6 hours worth of game. And he was skipping the videos and stuff though too. So there's more than that, but even then,
Well, there's like, I think there's like 5 or 8 hours of cutscenes.
yeah, I think it's 8. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't remember, dude.
It doesn't really matter.
All of them are starting to blur together at this point. I'll be
Yeah.
maybe not 12. It's kind of different.
It is, yeah.
Okay. So our final piece of news,
Yeah, so Square-Enix.
very, very in line with the theme here going on here.
Yeah, they're announcing
More
Gamescom.
info later.
Yeah, Gamescom 2015. Multiple Final Fantasy 15 stage events are planned.
Nice.
So more announcements and reveals in the coming weeks.
True dat.
They're going to hit a bunch of their, they're obviously a big publisher now. They picked up, Eidos a while back, and so they're going to have Hitman, a new Deus Ex, 15, 14,
Okay.
all sorts of crap. So we'll get more news.
See,
on
what does it say here about 15? Scroll down. The huge stage of Square Enix's booth is all about Final Fantasy 15. Visitors will be treated to a number of stage presentations with many well-known guests and new insight into the coming game. Select fans will also get the chance to play FF15 Episode Disque 2.0, which we already did at the booth. More information regarding the FF15 stage schedule will be announced in the coming weeks. Now, there are a lot of rumors that this is where they will announce the release date, but and I hope they do, because I was totally wrong about E3.
Yeah, I didn't expect a 7.
So it looks like it's not coming out in March,
I don't think so.
which
no.
is unfortunate. I mean, it might be
Unless
the
they announce
next
it now.
March. If
If they announced it now, it would be out by then.
You think so?
Yeah. And that's how they do it. They slack for like 4 years, and then they release a demo, and then they release the game.
Well,
But
that's,
it's
that's what
weird.
we saw with the last game.
It's weird to me that
Or 13.
Episode Disque is so...
Not the last game.
It's so... Yeah, not the last one, but the last... non-MMO one. I almost said real one, but that would have pissed almost everyone off. And then I did anyway. So anyway, with 15, the demo, it's so weird to me that it's not just public access. Because it's a game demo. Like, I think it's kind of BS that we had to buy what we did to get the demo for the game. It's a demo, for God's sake. People play fucking demos all the time on PSN. That's how you get feedback.
I thought it was smart.
I think it's cheap.
That was a smart business move. by
Yeah,
Square
it's a
Enix
smart
to do
business
that.
move, but it's a super dick move at the same time. But at the same time, they were doing it to get a lot of feedback. Thus, meaning they want feedback
wanted
from people
feedback
who care.
They wanted to know that they did play the demo and weren't just trolling.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, because you would have had to have bought the game.
Another smart move by Square Enix. So I completely disagree with you.
Well, the demo shouldn't be a testing of the game. That's
They
not what a
were-
demo is meant to be. A demo is meant to be the game in a small chunk, not what should this game be.
They were saying
Alpha testing.
this is what we got you right now. I mean, and they were testing the waters with the players to see what they thought could be improved and what, when
Right,
you're
but
in
that's-
when you're in such a large company like that, maybe there aren't people telling you no, this doesn't work. Maybe they're a little scared to say that.
Oh, because they get fired or moved to other parts of the world.
Yeah, maybe.
It could be a lot of the
So,
problems. Yeah. Well,
so
no,
they're actually asking the fans, big fans that were willing to buy Type 0 on the first day, or the first day edition of Type 0, and play that demo and submit a number and their feedback for it. Like, they got it from the true fans, what their true thoughts were on the demo, and then they improved the demo a little bit more to say, okay, we did this, you do a change. I still think what I thought before. I think it was very smart of them to do that.
Yeah,
And I'm glad
I
they did
guess.
it.
I know that's not what a demo's supposed to be, though. A demo's supposed to be this is how the game will be played. That's how 12's demo was. That's how 13's demo was. That's what a demo is. This is an alpha of the game almost. It's a how do you guys like this? You spent $100 on this Type 0 HD game to play this that's not even fully what it's going to be.
You didn't have to pay $100. I mean, you could have paid like $60.
Yeah, you could have, but I don't know. It's not a demo, really. It's more like an alpha testing group that they've gotten from us, which I agree is a smart idea, but at the same time, it's almost not right to even call the damn thing a demo. It's just
it's not the full game.
Well, no, it's not, but it's not even any part of the game, apparently. It's just this is what we have. How do you like it? It's not even a demo. It's not a chunk of the game. Like the 12 demo, you actually started in Ravenaster. You walk outside, you fight stuff. They didn't just like, oh, suddenly we're on the moon or, something crazy with it. It was actually what was going to be in the game. And I don't know. I guess with the Disgaea demo, that's probably how it's going to be. But at the same time, it's really weird patching a demo. Like they wanted to know.
I'm glad they did it.
I guess. I just think it means they have
And I
no
thought those
idea.
combos were pretty cool, and they smoothed things over with the dodging, and they made it so that you did your teleport thing. Even I like it a lot.
I do too, but I don't think we should be the ones choosing in what they're going to put in their game. They should make their game, and we should then play it.
They were asking our opinion. It's not that they were saying, "Hey."
I don't know, man. I think it took.
You know what? They had 13, well reviewed initially on release, is now hated by a lot of people, which is odd to me. That public opinion of 13 went downhill.
Yeah.
In just a few weeks after the release of it. And then 14, of course, had an atrocious release. And it took a long time for Square to build that up. And they built it up by listening to the players. So, yes, this is probably a result of 14's failure, that they're taking their time. They're trying to make sure that we're at least going to be happy for the most part with the game.
Yeah, I think they should just be able to create a good game without having alphas and betas coming out for us to test for them.
I'm okay with it.
I think they shouldn't.
I'm okay with it. They're not giving away any of the story, and that's of course what we play
lies.
Final
They totally
Fantasy
gave
IV.
away the story. Apart with the Titan holding up the world, they screwed up the demo.
That was someone found out by messing with it, but that wasn't on purpose.
Well, I know it's not on purpose, but still, it's still there. Damn it!
That's probably just some summon that comes out later. It's
probably not that big of a deal,
It might
yeah.
not be central to the plot, but who knows?
I don't know, and I like the demo. I'm not bagging on the demo. I just think that it's taken them 6 years to maybe have some semblance of an idea of what the game's going to be like.
We've gotten some feedback from people saying they were kind of ticked off that people were saying that it's been in development since 2006, but that it hadn't been in full development since 2006.
No, it was initially another game too, and things change when you obviously.
It was
when you
initially
change the
another game, and who knows how much they worked on that other game? Who knows how much they worked on Final Fantasy Versus 13? But we all thought that it was going to come out for the PS3, so there must have been some amount of funds and people and work hours going towards Versus 13.
Yeah, I'm sure there were, but I don't know. It doesn't really matter if you count it or not. The game's taken forever to come out either way. Since what? 14 was
14, either 2000. I want to say late 2010 or early 2011, something like that.
That's
for
still
14.
4 years for a game that they used to be able to pump out every year.
Yeah, but the games are a lot bigger now.
They are a lot bigger, but they've been getting bigger for a while. I don't know. And then 12,
Yeah, but they've been taking longer for a while. It's
I
not
know.
like a new development.
That's the problem.
12 took 6 years.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, the thing is it's
Since-
not like
yeah.
I don't even think with other Western RPGs, I don't think it takes them nearly that long.
Of course, they pumped out 9, 10, and 11 really quick.
Yeah, of course they don't announce it 10 years before they release the game either, because they understand that you don't do that. You don't just hey, Fallout 4, and then 40 years later, Fallout 4. It's not like that. They released the Fallout 4 trailer, and then they're going to release it next year. Versus 13 trailer.
But they've
9
been in
years
development
ago.
for a long time.
They have.
Okay.
But they can
I
keep it
agree
quiet
that
now.
is definitely the better way to go.
Which is weird because Square was so
But
secretive for
since
so
then-
long.
Since then, they obviously have moved Nomura around because he's a worthless. They've moved Nomura around to different projects since Versus 13, and I think he released a game in between then, like some mobile games. Not
Yeah,
mobile games,
probably.
but some Kingdom Hearts handheld stuff. And I believe they changed the president of Square-Enix since then also. So there's been some company shifting.
Yeah.
So it's
I don't know.
it's kind of like the tumultuous days, and we'll find out about this in 2 weeks of Final Fantasy XII's development. But hopefully, it turns out better.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just weird for such a traditionally tight-lipped company to just be
Oh,
releasing trailers like
Enix
crazy.
came there and just
opened up.
destroyed it. I think.
No, maybe not destroy.
But we'll
it,
find out. We'll find out more in the history of Square Enix.
You know what? I say we get to that
Okay, we should get to that.
instead of bitching about the. It's kind of annoying though. It's so weird to me because, like, seriously, Fallout 4, they just barely released the trailer, and it's going to come out next year. They didn't release the fucking trailer in 2001 when Fallout 1 came out.
I get you.
know?
We got a comment on our thing. You want to look at
It's super weird to me, and it shits me off.
it? Who is stronger?
Stronger
Who is stronger?
between us two?
You'd be amazed at what can delay a game. A legal search on a name, for example, can take upwards of a year.
Yeah, I could see that.
Huh.
Um.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, and I don't know. It's not a huge deal. It's just really weird because like when we're talking early Final Fantasy, they didn't say shit ever about anything. Like what we find is it was very limited in the the development history. Like they started here, they ended here. These guys worked on it.
Mm-hmm.
But now with the later releases, it's years and years of planning and trailers and.
Well, I know Final Fantasy XII had a particularly difficult development time, and I wish we were talking about this on the podcast right now, but we'll talk about it for you guys on Twitch. Final Fantasy XII had a very difficult development, including Hironobu Sakaguchi taking a large chunk of the team with him.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, they had to regroup, and they had to figure out what the game was about. I hate looking at myself. Delayed, by the way, but...
It's even worse than looking at yourself in normal time.
yeah, normally, yeah. But 13, I know, also had a tumultuous time because I believe I read that no one knew what the game was going to be. And, like, they started development with PS2, and they moved to PS3. And then they didn't even know how the game was going to be until they were forced to do a demo. And so then they had to really quickly figure out what how exactly the battle system was going to work.
That's madness to me.
That's insane. So, like, I don't know how many... It was just a few months after the demo was released that the game was released. So that was when the development really happened. That's when they went into overdrive.
Yeah, so that's why I'm calling
And, like,
bullshit
pump
on
13 out.
the games are bigger idea. Because, yeah, they're bigger, but we know that 13 was made in that small of a window. They could do it. It's just... I don't know. They just don't, I guess.
You're right about all those things. Says legal searches, budget approvals, contract negotiations with the development team and external vendors like the physical manufacturers, etc. These are all things that can delay games by a very long time. Yeah, but not 6 years.
Not usually.
But I doubt that's what Final Fantasy 15's. I can't say problems, but I doubt that's why it's taken so damn long.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really...
It's probably more internal development struggles with...
when it comes to Square, that's what I feel.
Yeah, with people. And, as long as they make a good game, I'm going to trust Hajime Tabata for now. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he released a really great game on PSP, and that's really all I've
I
played.
haven't even played that, so...
But I don't know. I'm sure it'll be good. At the very least, it's not going to be a horrible game.
Okay, so
It's
we're
just
going to
frustrating.
take like a 5-minute break, and then we'll be back to do the rest of the show.
All right.
Okay? I need to take a water break.
All right. Also, thanks for the follow, K9. We appreciate it. I've been doing a lot of that FF12. Pretty much end game right now in it, and basically just hammering out all the summons and the like. So, yeah, it's good stuff. And yeah, 6 years is a bit of a time frame, I would say. But as we said, as long as they release a solid game, I think take as long as they need. It's just frustrating when they come out. Yeah. Good old live Twitch shows. And hello, S Gage or Gage.
Oh,
Nice. Oh, we got a few people watching now.
oh, that's nice. Hey, how are you guys doing? We need to we have a little sign like right here that says, on break, be back in 5, or something. I know. Do other people have offline statuses?
Yeah, they'll have
We gotta figure out how to use Twitch a little better. I mean, the last time we were doing these videos, we were just recording it on a camera. No, we did Google Plus, didn't we?
Yeah, it looked like shit.
Yeah, it looked like crap though. Okay. 6 years is a long time. Started a playthrough with 7 after the remake announcement. Nice way to go. Are we using OBS? I don't even know what that means. Dude, Caleb's the Twitch guy. And he is now drinking something.
Straight vodka.
Yeah, just straight vodka.
Refreshing. No, we use XSplit.
Is OBS better?
The guy that streams at work has said a lot of good things about OBS,
Okay.
but I don't know if I can. I don't know.
Oh
if
yeah,
he's
he
right.
does. Well, he kind of has. Well, we've kind of set up a similar thing that he had. We kind of have a big black bar in between our logo and us. Do you see that?
Big black bar. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a big gap.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass to set it up. Honestly, it's like, oh no, wait, it's not a gap.
There
It's
we
the
go.
window was.
Well, that's
off.
what I was talking about. There is a gap. It's a big
Yeah,
gap.
it's because the thing doesn't lock into place like it did on the other program we used. But the other program we used lost its shit, and I had to stop using it.
Okay.
Hey,
So
like-
that was FF split.
Yeah, it just refused to work.
Did you? We should ask the Limit Break guys what they use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't help you then. Really familiar with OBS, but I've never used XSplit.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll figure it out.
All right. We're going to get started on the history of Square Enix Part 2. By the way, guys, for you guys who are joining us now and you've never watched this show, we're actually a podcast. You can find us on iTunes, Ultima Final Fantasy. Whole bunch of episodes about all things Final Fantasy. And we're also going through the games and doing reviews of them. So
Yep. So right now we're on.
Don't start with episode 1 because
It's really rough.
it is really rough, although I'm going to recommend it later to other listeners.
It's a good episode content wise, but sound quality wise, it's not good at all.
All right, we ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, give me 1 second here. Okay, so the history of Square Enix Part 2, which I have titled From Power Lines to Programming.
Man, if only you were this good of a writer when it comes to your own scripts.
You're such a dick. Oh, you're such a cock. Why did you say that? Okay. All right, so last time we talked about Enix and how they kind of came about and how they finally released the first Dragon Quest game in 1986. Now, just before that, the 1986 is actually when Square-Co was founded also, like when Square-Co was founded. However, like Enix, it came from another company. So as Enix was formed from another company, so was Square. The Square we know today was created out of an affiliate of a power company, originally owned by the father of a young man at the time. He's not young anymore. Named Masafumi Miyamoto. So after Miyamoto graduated from Waseda University, he began developing computer games through his father's company. then called Danyusha, and this was in 1983.
Okay.
So now Miyamoto did do some programming, like he was kind of a computer guy, but when I was reading up about him, he was talking about how, he didn't consider himself a computer freak, like many of he actually used the words computer freak, like many of the other programmers that he eventually hired. But at the time, Miyamoto, much like his Enix counterpart, which we talked about last week, Yasuhiro Fukushima, was much more of a businessman than a programmer. But Miyamoto saw the rising electronic market in Japan, and he wanted to make money out of it. So this was entirely a financial thing. So despite his purely financial motivations, Miyamoto figured he knew what it would take to make a good computer game.
Okay.
Like, for some odd reason, like he wanted to make money in this electronic market, and he said, you know what? I know. I think I can do this because I know what it takes to make a good game. Like, he's quoted as saying that.
Oh, nice. So, through his father's company, the power company. Man, they have weird origins for this stuff. Like,
they can't just start a new company. They have to.
Yeah, they can't just be a gaming company to begin with. So, through his father's company, he began hiring college grads and creative types to help work on these games.
Because I think it's because he knew he could work them for cheap.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's most likely why. And creative types is probably a internship for free.
Well, there was Nobuo Uematsu, Hironobu Sakaguchi. These all came out of this.
It's very true, yeah.
They all graduated from college. They joined Square.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Danyusha.
So during this time, it was pretty typical for a game to be made from scratch by one single programmer, but Miyamoto, hoping to save development time, hired many different people for different creative posts during the game development, and that makes a lot of sense. That's a big reason, obviously, why the games were just being pumped out in the beginning.
So, like Ultima, I believe the first few Ultima games and the first Dragon Quest game, they were made by like one or just like 3 or 4 people, basically. And we know that the first Final Fantasy was made by at least 7 people. So, which at the time was a big development staff. So,
wow.
It's interesting what he's done here.
You remember the freaking credits for 10? I was like, oh,
yeah,
God, this is never going to end.
Well, half of those were also like English localization credits.
True enough.
So, what I thought was interesting here, he was especially concerned with making games, that were more visually... I don't know if I've ever burped in the middle of an episode before. I probably have, but not like audibly. Okay. He was especially concerned with making games that were more visually impressive than the other games on the market, something that Square does now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so this is like inherent within Square to make games that are really good looking. So he had the art applicants, do pixel art as part of their recruiting process. And, at the time, good graphics, it was really hard for the computers to take them in, to process those graphics. Like, a lot of colors meant a lot of processing power that had to be utilized. And so, because he wanted his games to look good from the company, he was also sure to bring in programmers who could figure out how to make the games with such complex graphics into something that the machines could handle. So I believe he hired specialists to do exactly that. To make program it in such a way that it was more compatible for the computers at the time. Right.
I mean, we've all seen Amano's artwork, and it doesn't quite look like what it looks like in the game, obviously, but I would say that's a different skill to develop. I mean, all right, we'll draw that, but just with squares.
Now, you're saying that, but there are certain limitations with the Famicom. They were developing computer games before the Famicom. In fact, under Danyusha, the first games Miyamoto produced were called Death Trap and its sequel called Will. And Will especially was a big success and sold 100,000 copies. Now, by the way, Will and Death Trap were both made by a certain man named Hironobu Sakaguchi.
Oh, really?
Apparently, yes.
Nice.
Found this out and I was like, oh, cool. Following Will, Square ported another game called Thexter to the Nintendo Famicom, which was the first game they ever ported to that system. They, of course, still weren't called Square at the time. Now, Thexter kind of created a string of unsuccessful Famicom games that Square Enix developed between 1980, I believe it was 83, and 1987.
Okay.
So, like, all those games were kind of unsuccessful. All those Famicom games in between. But in 1986, as we said before, the Square we know and love was officially founded and relocated to Yokohama, from Yokohama to Tokyo, to begin producing a role-playing game thought up by the director of planning at the company, Hironobu Sakaguchi. And this game was highly influenced, as we talked about before, by Dragon Quest.
Influenced.
Yeah. And this role-playing game would be called
Dun, dun, dun.
Final Fantasy.
Sweet.
Yeah. So there are a couple different stories surrounding the title of Final Fantasy, which we talked about in a news segment a few weeks ago. The traditional story is that of a company in peril, in financial peril, and one last-ditch effort for a project to save them from utter failure. The other story, however, more likely the truth, as told by Sakaguchi, like a while ago, was that he originally titled the game Fighting Fantasy, but that the title had already been trademarked, and in order to keep the pleasing sound FF, which I guess is a pleasing sound in Japanese.
Yeah, it's like FU,
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, whatever. As the game's shorthand, they came up with Final Fantasy. Now, the reason why I think Hironobu Sakaguchi's story is true and the traditional story is not true is that despite the fact that they were putting out games that were not selling well, they were willing to risk changing the name of the company and moving it to Tokyo, thus making like a really expensive
chain of events.
Yeah, like it's a risk to do that. And then it's another risk to make this even bigger game than they had made previously. It's as far as scope is concerned.
Yeah. Maybe it's like a Life of Pi thing.
So-
like which story, they're both the truth, but which one is more
Don't
fun?
give away the ending to Life of Pi. Come on. This is
Spoiler alert.
Final Fantasy fun. Thank you for bringing up Ang Lee, by the way. I know I can go on another Ang Lee rant, but man, he's a good film.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really, it doesn't matter
And
which
speaking of Brokeback Mountain, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, let's talk about the Hulk. No. So for more history on the first Final Fantasy game, you can refer to our first episode ever on this podcast, which was Final Fantasy, and I am so sorry for the audio issues on our first few episodes, especially the first episode.
Yeah,
But
after the first one, we figured out that
If you
always on is not okay in TeamSpeak.
in TeamSpeak again, and then we also learned not to record on TeamSpeak.
Yeah, and then we found, what was it?
We found
Audacity.
a better way. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah,
Yeah, this is what we need to use.
it's like 1,000,000,000 times better.
Yeah, we also found out analog mics and not digital mics.
Yeah, that's a biggie.
Anyway, outside of the podcast stuff.
So, yeah, anyway, the game was released, and it was obviously a great commercial success, selling 500,000 copies and spawning the massive
What is
Final
now
Fantasy
massive,
series.
yeah.
Yeah, obviously it wasn't massive then, and that was, of course, 1987. And funnily enough, the first Final Fantasy game didn't sell nearly as well as the first Dragon Quest
Yeah,
game.
so even though we English speakers know Final Fantasy to be like the one that's more in the zeitgeist, Dragon Quest was actually, and for the most part, still actually is the bigger game in Japan.
It is, yeah. They're more popular over there, but Final Fantasy sells more because we like it more. But Caleb Craig has played both Final Fantasy 1 and Dragon Warrior, and he preferred Dragon Warrior quite a bit. He said it was a really solid game, so it could just be better. I don't know. I have no idea.
As what I was saying, we'll see later that there is a certain pattern to Square Enix's sales, or Square sales and Enix's sales. You see, Square would sell well in Japan, but even better outside of Japan, and Enix would bust the block in terms of Japanese sales, but would never break into the Western market all that well, except for maybe Dragon Quest VIII. But even that had kind of timid sales. In fact, when I was doing the research on this segment, there was a 2004 stockholder kind of write-up from Square Enix, and they had the sales of all their games, and they had it from Japan to to
America?
to the U.S. and Europe.
Okay.
And they had kind of different colors, and they had these bar graphs. And both of the bar graphs looked really even, and I was looking at it. And this was in 2004. Since then, Final Fantasy has sold a lot better. But in 2004, both of the series were almost the same amount of sales, except that Dragon Quest had like these dark blue Japan lines almost all the way, and very little light blue where it was said U.S. and Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And then Final Fantasy was kind of like half that for Japan, and then the rest of it was U.S. and Europe. And it's a few million more copies sold at 2004, but
Now it's a lot.
Not much more. Now it's a lot, but they of course haven't pumped out as many Dragon Quest games as they have pumped out Final Fantasy games.
Yeah,
since
that's
then.
very true. There's those that will
So
buy
I
all
thought-
of them.
I thought that was interesting because normally we would think that Final Fantasy was the more popular series, and worldwide it is, but in Japan, where it's made, Dragon
so
Quest
much.
is actually the bigger thing.
Oh,
So, almost like marketing rivals, the first year of Final Fantasy was released. Enix's project, Dragon Quest II, this was in 1987, raised the bar. Now, we talked about how the first Final Fantasy made 400,000 copies sold, right?
right.
It raised the bar with 2.4 million copies.
That's quite.
That's quite the gap.
Yeah, that's
as far
like-
as sales are concerned.
That's like James Cameron going down into the ocean and raising the bar, kind of a gap. Little South Park reference there.
So yeah, I found out all that information. I thought that was really cool. Now, next time we do the history of Square-Enix, which will be in a few weeks, I'm sure, we're going to talk about probably the golden years of both the companies. Those, early 90s kind of thing.
Yeah, the good times for him.
the good times. So we'll let the good times roll.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah.
And next time, do we have some questions, Caleb?
Yeah, we have some questions.
Oh, some questions?
yeah. Let's get to those.
Okay.
All right. Well, we have a lot of questions that I've looked at today. There's like 7, but
Okay.
I think in the spirit of getting people ready to ask us their FF12 questions, we should probably clear out the ones that we haven't done.
Clearing house, huh?
Kind of. This is only like a third of them, which is insane. But
As
yeah.
we said before, if you're on the forum, one question per week, because there was a time not too long ago when we didn't have as big of an audience as we do, or as an active forum as we do, and so we would answer pretty much every question that came up.
Yeah, now it's not going to happen.
Now it's kind of like, okay, just pick and choose your questions.
Now, so what I've been doing when I sort them out, and
except for the FF12 ones, ask as many as those you
yeah, that's fine. But as I've been
for next week,
grabbing the 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah, next week I got to do something. I have no idea what yet, but so I'm just doing one per week. Even if you ask a couple each week, we're only going to do one of them. So like really 511, when he joined the forums, which is our first question, he had like 5 of them, which is cool. It's great. But I'm only going to do one from each person a week. So
Okay.
we're getting through his finally. This one's from May. It's titled Awesome Summons.
Okay. Wow, this is from May.
I think we might have talked about this already.
Our favorite summons?
Yeah.
No. We talked about our favorite summons, but he's asking what the most amazing summoning moment is in all FF history.
Okay.
He thinks it's Leviathan his favorite summon is Leviathan, but the most amazing summoning moment he thinks is when Alexander is summoned in Final Fantasy Type 0. He says that summon literally made anyone I showed it to drop their mouths open.
I haven't seen it. So
Nor have I.
most amazing summon moment.
Yeah. I'd say Alexander in Final Fantasy 9 is pretty sweet.
Yeah, that one was really cool.
Or opening the lamp in Final Fantasy 8. Unknowingly.
Yeah.
That is something.
Yeah. Shoot. Most amazing ever? I might have to go with Knights of the Round again.
Knights of the Round.
Yeah, it's just so awesome.
Your first time.
It's so exciting when you finally, after busting your balls for hours getting the golden chocobo, unknowingly, of course, because I could have killed Ruby, but instead I was running around grabbing chocobos. I didn't know Ruby gave you a gold chocobo.
Sorry.
So I have 2. But they don't like each other either.
Did you kill Ruby with Knights of the Round, though?
No.
Okay.
So I didn't need it.
Oh, yeah, he counters.
He counters it like
That's right.
crazy. It's not worth it. Just counter attack the whole time.
Yeah,
But,
I'm thinking Diablos or Alexander in Final Fantasy IX.
Okay. Those are all pretty cool.
Because I remember, like, the big castle. It was cool. Or, like, Odin in Final Fantasy. Oh, Odin in Final Fantasy VIII when Cypher, like, cuts him in half when he comes down.
Oh, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I
And
think
then
that was Odin.
And then he becomes Gilgamesh. Isn't that what
I
happens?
think so. It's
Odin gets killed
a little
by...
hazy.
I think Odin actually gets killed by Gilgamesh, is what happens. Cypher has Gilgamesh, and then that's when you get Gilgamesh, because he joins your side because Cypher's evil. And you defeat Cypher. I remember that.
I remember
it was
someone
freaking
getting
sweet.
cut in half.
Yeah, and it was the
And that
guy
was
that's always
awesome.
cutting people in half. And Odin deserved it, okay?
Revisit our
Because-
Final Fantasy VIII review episode.
Yeah, and that's the reason why he deserved it, is because I was trying to go through no XP, but Odin comes in occasionally and kills everything, and being level 5, I level up like 4 times without, not on my own accord. So,
This is a Final Fantasy XI question?
yep, from June. So this one's from Gammon Stark.
Did we accidentally miss this one? Oh, it's from June. Okay.
Yeah, so it says
All right.
FF11 story. Several times you guys asked each other or the guest host about the story of FF11 and how it compares to the other main series titles. What if the MMO aspect of the game was removed? Is the story still good enough or meaty enough to be a main series Final Fantasy game? I have only played the first 20 levels or so, fighting around Windhurst.
Farting around Windhurst.
Farting around Windhurst. Oh, jeez.
Fatting around Windhurst.
Yeah, but from your description of the story, it sounds very short. It seems to be missing memorable NPCs and the FF twist. If yes, why? If no, what needs to be added to give it that FF feel? Those are both like the same things.
It has an FF twist. It does, really, when the dude stabs him in the flashback or whatever.
Yeah.
The story in FF11, I think if you just do the main story of the area that you're in, like the Bastok missions, or the Windhurst, or the Sandoria missions, I believe they'll be the same as the Bastok. Not necessarily the exact same storyline. I mean, they get to the same point, but they'll probably be about the same length. You're maybe looking at about an hour, maybe 2 hours of story content.
Yeah.
So it's very sparse, and I think it doesn't, except for maybe Final Fantasy 1 or 2 or 3, like the first, like we were talking about, Final Fantasy 11 is a lot like those first 3 games in sort of tone and storytelling, and the way that it kind of just puts you out there and says "fuck you" to the player.
Pretty much, yeah.
But we played it nonetheless.
And 12 has that kind of feel a little bit too.
A little bit, but 12 has a lot more story than 11
Oh,
does.
yeah.
It is very sparse, and I don't think it really would hold up well without the MMO aspect, unless they really dwarfed everything down, including the size of the game.
Yeah,
Which
I
is
think they'd have to overhaul it completely.
unmanageable as a single-player game.
Yeah, there's no way I would play that game single player.
Yeah, so if you remember the first Final Fantasy, it's a lot like that. Just add, I don't know, 60 hours of game time on
Yeah,
top
something
of that.
like that. The first one only took me I think it was like 20 hours, maybe 24.
Yeah. You know what would have made it better if there was something about the text box in Final Fantasy XI that just wasn't appealing to the eye, and I think that might have to do with some of that kind of negative experience with Final Fantasy XI.
You just kind of was like, whatever.
So with this lack of story, there was also too many NPCs. Also, like if they kept with just a few, like 3 or 4, it would have been better. But we met so many people on this Bastok journey that we went on.
It's true, yeah.
That it was kind of hard to remember who was what. Now, it might be different as we go through the expansions later on, and hopefully we do revisit FF11 if we can get our accounts back, which we should be able to.
Yeah, I haven't stopped paying for mine yet.
Are you serious? You haven't canceled it yet? I
Yeah.
canceled mine.
And I was the one that was like, nah, I'm going to cancel the shit out of that thing.
You just haven't logged in and pressed the cancel
I
button.
haven't, no. I
is-
just keep forgetting.
That is despicable. No,
How dare you support them?
I got a new debit card, so my Final Fantasy 14 thing was also stopped.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So, we'll get all back to that soon. I'm not sure if it's different with the expansions. I'm sure it is. I'm sure because it seemed when we were doing the newer expansion
It was cool.
that that it was revisiting a lot of the other characters that we were already playing with. So
Yeah.
maybe we do get to learn more about them. But for as it is on a standalone when it was originally released and the first expansion with Rise of the Zillard, not including that expansion, but the expansion of the main story, yeah, it is very sparse.
Yeah, and it would be a brutal single-player game.
It would be rough.
I think it'd be almost unplayable. All right, so we have one here from Void.
Greenmushroom.com if you want to check him out. He's very nice to us.
He is. He's got like the opposite idea on the games, but that's cool. So this one's FF.
He also has ranked all the Final Fantasies except for 11 because he just chose not to play it.
Yeah,
But we're willing to play it.
that's right.
Yeah. You can be forgiven, Void. I mean, we're
can.
gonna return back to the 11 games.
Oh, we haven't bagged on Void for a long time.
Oh, I know.
It's been like a few months.
We gotta return.
He loves it too. He's like, yes, called out. All right, so this one's FF14 Heavensward content plan. Heavensward is out this week. This is June 22nd. For those of you who don't know, it's the first expansion to FF14, A Realm Reborn. I've already been playing it for a few days with the early access week, and he's having a really good time with it. This got him wondering, what's your plan for playing through 14? I know for 11 you did the initial release and then played some of the expansion. For FF14 you have initial release ending, story content 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.55, and Heavensward. 14 is kind of an outlier when it comes to MMOs. The content in the game is story-locked instead of level-locked, so you can get to level 50, but until you play through the story content from all the patches, you can't start Heavensward. This makes it harder for new players to catch up, but it also allows the developers to make the story truly matter and stay consistent throughout the experience. So, what content are you planning to play through when you get to this game?
Well, we played through the 10 or all the way up to rank 10 in Final Fantasy 11. Now, the original initial release of Final Fantasy 11 only brought you to rank 5. So, I think it would be natural to go up to story content patch 2.55.
At the very least.
Yeah. So, we'll get all the way through the level 50 stuff in the
And I
in
mean,
14, and we'll leave Heavensward for later, I think.
yeah, maybe. It depends on how quickly we can get through it, though.
It's true, but I think we should I think for now that we should treat it like 11. But of course, we'll revisit this.
And at the same time, if we get through it in a month and we want to move on to...
Yeah, if somehow we get through it in a month.
If we get some weird after years itch, we can just... we can go back to Heavensward.
It's true. After Final Fantasy 14, we will be playing Heavensward. Or
After Years?
After Years.
Yeah, the FF4 sequel.
Yeah.
Or I guess Interlude and then After
Interlude
Years,
and then After
the 10 minutes that is...
Afterlude.
Yeah, Afterlude. Wow. So yeah, we'll see on the 14. I mean, obviously, at the very least, we're going to play up to Heavensward, and then who knows?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is a question we've been asked before.
Yeah, will you play the FF remake?
Okay.
Oh man, did we talk about this? I swear to God.
We talked about this and was not decided whether or not we would play the remake for this show. I mean, that's only if it comes out in the next 3 years while we're doing this show. That's the first thing. And then we'll make the decision from there. So what does he say here? This is Amerlin 1 on our
He
forums.
says, big question about the FF7 remake. Technically, you both won over it already, albeit in small capacity. But will you guys play the remake for the show? The reason he asks is because we never gave a concrete answer. Joe didn't want to, Caleb did. To comment on the argument, it's simply a remake, and if you played it, you'd have to play the other 4 or so that were remade. He doesn't think that's true. The others are simply ported for the most part.
No, that's not true. They were completely 3 and 4 were completely remade.
Not completely remade.
Yes, they were. They had different translations. They were completely different, like game engines.
They're not completely different. I've seen it. I saw Christian playing it. It has the same story.
Yeah, it has the same story, and so should FF7. It's just going to be a vamped-up edition of it, and they're going to change a few things. They changed a few things in the FF4 remake, too. They added more story content with Golbez, and that's what they did.
It's not as much
It's
of a
going to
remake.
be... Well, we don't know that yet, first of all.
No, we do, because they've said that.
They said it was going to be a reimagination of it.
Yeah, that's
So who knows?
totally different. So the answer is we don't know yet.
We don't know yet. And but I will say that if it is done within the next 3 years while we're doing this podcast, which is what my assumption is, that how long this podcast will take, because we're trying to get through all the games,
Yeah.
including the spin-offs, including the games that were once planned to be Final Fantasies and became Final Fantasies later, including for you other people who asked me again this week. Yes, we are playing.
Fool.
We are playing Chrono Trigger at some point.
Yeah.
Far down the road.
Yeah.
And we are also playing Final Fantasy Tactics, and yeah,
I still think we go RPG at the end, so we could still play Final Fantasy, but if you think about it, I don't know.
Definitely decide that at the end. If we want to kill each other in the next 3 years,
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen necessarily, though.
who
But
knows?
think about it, though. Once we get through all of the Final Fantasy games, how likely is it that we're going to go directly into another Final
maybe
Fantasy?
we'll retire from video games. Who knows?
I don't think I will.
Okay.
I don't know, though. It's a lot. I don't think I'm going to want to jump
The other
right
games
into...
are shorter, though, so we'll see how long our timetable is going to be from getting through all these games.
Yeah, it really all depends.
Yeah, but we are going through the long games right now.
Yeah, so we got one from Shinru here.
It all depends. You know what? Honestly, we probably will play it. I mean, I'll probably be bullied enough to, but I don't want you guys to think that you can just bully us into playing games.
Yeah.
Like we didn't play Type 0, no matter what you guys said. Like we're sticking with our order. Now we might make an exception with 7, but we're not going to make an exception to mobile games, and we're not going to make an exception for anything else, really.
Yeah, I mean...
that might happen with FF7 just because of super popular demand, but for the most part, we want to look at the series as we stated at the beginning, from
beginning to
main
end.
series, then spin-offs as a separate thing, and then out from there. So
Right.
beginning to end, basically.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, that's the whole point of it, so...
Yeah.
The 7 remake is kind of an outlier.
We might cap it off with the 7 remake. Who knows?
Yeah, it all depends.
Yeah.
So, will the FF7 remake possibly come out with 2 Blu-ray discs? Asks Shinru. It's been said many times that the remake is going to be enormous, transition to 3D. It might not be as big as GTA 5, but it does have more detail and a variety of areas and places you can enter.
Which takes a ton of space, so it really is an incredibly large game, even by today's standard. How do we know that?
We don't.
We don't know
Just based
that.
on the graphics we've seen, but that's might be video.
But that's FMV sequences. So who knows how? I mean, I'm sure the game is going to be huge, but
I don't think it's going to be like 3 Blu-rays like he's thinking. Maybe
I doubt it's going to be multiple Blu-ray discs. I mean, Blu-rays are a lot of space.
the world of Final Fantasy VII is not as big as the world of Grand Theft Auto 5. It's just not. There's
not the
enough
original
room.
Final Fantasy VII. I think Shinru is saying it could possibly be expanded to
Heavily.
a much larger size. And even if it is it really going to be any bigger than 11 or of 12?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be able to access it a little better, so it'd be smoother than 11 or 12, where you could just... No, it'd be 11 without the teleport stuff. You'd have the buggy and the airship, which would be, great. But
I don't think that would ever be expected, that it would be multiple Blu-ray discs.
yeah, I mean, HD DVD obviously had multiple discs for the 360, but that'd be crazy if it was multiple Blu-rays. Just insane amounts of data pumping through that thing. So we have one from one of the newer members.
Oh, this is a big question.
Yeah, this is from The Doors 93. If you could create the perfect Final Fantasy, in your opinion, what aspects would you pick and choose from any Final Fantasy? For him, he'd choose 10's battle system. He loves how fast-paced and tactical it is while still being turn-based. 12's weapon system. He likes how anyone can use whatever they want. And 12's summon system. 7 would be his choice for the Final Fantasy world and mini-games. And 10-2 would be the choice for the job system. He loves the dress sphere. And 9 for the musical score.
Really?
So he'd want a European.
9 does have a good musical score.
It's true.
I don't think it's one of the best, but I think it's
It's probably like 3rd or 4th.
I think
maybe.
it's good. Yeah. Well, battle system. What's your favorite battle system in the series so far?
12s. I really like it.
Wow.
I like the openness. I feel like it feels way more natural. Like it could actually exist in a real world setting, as opposed to the enemies show up, you get enough time to like get in your battle stance and then attack. And plus sneaking, it doesn't make any sense in 7. When I get back attacked, I'm in battle stance. My guys are holding their weapons out and they're getting snuck attack on. They didn't have the weapons
It's not
out.
for realism, it's for play.
I know, but I still like 12s the most.
Strategy. Okay. I think 7 is an incredibly balanced battle system. You know, we talked to Daniel Burke, and he didn't agree with that, but he thought it was too easy. I believe he said.
Well, I think the game.
I thought the game was fun. I think that's more important than being hard or challenging.
Yeah,
I thought it was fun. 10, I do believe, is probably the best battle system out of the first 12 games, and that's what I'm going to base it on. Although I do remember loving 13's battle system quite a bit, so that might change. So, yeah, I'd say 10's battle system. I'd agree with him. What about weapons and equipment, basically? Equipment systems. Do you like the license board in 12?
I don't really like the license board necessarily, but
hate the license board.
I do like how everyone can have whatever weapon you want, though. It makes them kind of, they're almost like clay characters. They can become whatever you want, which is different from the earlier games, but I do like the fact that I have armor, I have a helm, I have an accessory item, I have my sword and shield, as opposed to 10, where you have your bangle and your sword. Mm-hmm. And that's you. I don't like that as much.
It's your one piece of armor, just depending on who you are.
Yeah, so I might go with the weapon system.
My knee pads and my sword, yes. But I can only have the knee pads as armor.
Yeah. I don't know. With the weapon system, I might go something along the lines of 12 or 4, or 3 or something like that, where you have each of your items. 3 was really awesome because you could do double shields on Ignis and or whatever the hell his name was, Angus, something like that.
Anus, yeah.
And you could do provoke, and he'd have 2 shields to be blocking stuff with, so he's a total tank. Mm-hmm. I think something like that would be really cool, where I've got each little accessory item that feels like a tabletop MMO. Not that I ever play those really, but I kind of like that feel.
Okay.
What about you?
I'm thinking FF9's equipment. It was
the same as 12's.
It's pretty similar to 12's. It's pretty similar to 11's, and I don't know. There's a lot of options, but it's not such a forefront part of the game. I'm not an equipment hoarder, and we'll find out in the FF12 episode what problems I had with equipment during FF12.
Yeah.
And it's my hatred of the license board. I could never take that system. I'm gonna have to say FF9 as my favorite stuff for equipment. Let's see, Final Fantasy, the best mini games. I think we still should just judge on 1 through 12 right now. But the best mini games, he says 7. I'm gonna go ahead and say 7 also, as far as like what mini games you would want in a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah. Would you really put anything in 13 above it? Like what?
No, not 13, but I know 14 has mini games.
Oh, well,
so
we don't know about that, really.
I don't, so I can't judge it.
Yeah, 7s were okay, and 10s are horrendous, so...
Yeah.
And 12's, the fishing game is, like, okay, I guess. I think it was, like, a button event thing. It wasn't really anything. It wasn't...
There's one where we do the race with the one dude that looks like Jet.
Yeah, there's that, too. You can get some pretty good items for that, actually.
Can you?
Like, yeah, after doing, like, a ton
I just
of them.
tried it, and I was like, I can't do this, and so I stopped.
It's weird because you have to press X and circle and control your dude. So it's, like, inhuman, because you're mashing X and circle with both hands, and you don't have anything to control the person with. So, yeah, it's stupid. But it's not as bad as the crap you had to do in 10, so I'd probably go with 7 also.
Yeah, I think 7 had the best minigames. Not that Final Fantasy really has great minigames. It's one of those things that's... 7's minigames, fun as they are clunky.
Yeah.
And, of course, I hate those card games. I'm sorry. I know
a lot of people love them.
A lot of people love those card games. And if you love them, then you would have a different answer to this question, I am sure. But I personally detest those
I think it'd be fun if it was, like, on 14 where you're playing against other people. That's fine. That's cool. But the world, the area, and changing the rules is total bullshit.
What about job system?
I'm going to have to go with FF5 for the job system. Because we
agree.
haven't played 10-2, and we haven't played Tactics all the way.
I agree. FF5.
So
great job system.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Much better than 3's. And musical score.
musical score, I
So
still
far?
think Sevens is the best.
I still think 6.
Yeah.
6 has a gorgeous musical score, and I could listen to that all day.
All right, fair enough, fair enough.
So that's my perfect Final Fantasy of the stuff made out of 12.
Ooh, this one's fun. What's
go
our
on.
moniker? This is from Gammon Stark. And let's see, listeners of Fear the Boot are called Booters. Happy Jack listeners are Jackers. He even recalls another podcast jokingly referring to their fans as fuckers
Wow.
because it's FFUKHUers. So what are we?
What? They call them fuckers?
Yeah, fuckers. That's pretty funny, actually. That's good. I'll give him props for that. His suggestions are ridiculous, but
So what are we?
uffers, huffers,
Uffers.
grinders, fantasizers, LDS on LSD. Definitely not that one. I've always thought just
I'm not on LSD.
Final Fantasy fanatics, I guess, or Ultimaniacs is cool. I like
sounds like-
Kefka's.
That reminds me of Animaniacs. That's not going to work. What is Kefka's?
His
Oh, he says the
suggestions-
Ultimaniacs are Final Fantasy fanatics
Yeah,
because that's our email.
Ultimas, keeping it simple. I do look kind of like Ultimaniacs, but yeah, it does sound like Animaniacs.
Now I'm picturing Joe ripping a bright yellow T-shirt with a red UFF stamped on it.
What about
that's
ripping a
interesting.
shirt with the UFF underneath? Our
Yeah,
superhero
like-
shit. Yeah.
Okay, like Superman.
Yeah. They need a good podcast.
Oh man, dude, I have no Ultimaniacs. Uffs.
How about, yeah, just uffs.
Man, you uffers out there.
Uffers.
I like grinders.
Yeah, but you hate
Uffers?
grinding.
I kind of like uffers.
I think uffers is cool.
Uffers. Mother uffers.
Yeah, mother uffers. We can go with that.
Yeah. Let's
That
go.
was on the spot.
Mother uffers.
Yeah.
Mother uffers.
Or just uffers. It's if you want to shorten it. Okay, so this is from Light Sage. This one's discussing other games from E3. I know that the announcement of the FF7 remake and the World of Final Fantasy games were the only announcements of E3 worthy of news in the Final Fantasy podcast. He'd also like to know what other game announcements that came out of E3 we're excited for. She was excited for a lot of game announcements, such as
We've had this question before.
we may have Last Guardian.
Because I talked about Last Guardian. Yeah, we had this question before.
I think we've already read some of the questions we've done today. Then
No, it's just this one so far.
why isn't this not moved?
You
bastard.
Forgot to lose it. Either way, I'm pretty excited for The Last Guardian. 'Cause
Yes,
I really loved Shadow of the Colossus. And I believe you said Fallout 4?
Fallout 4 looks cool, but I need to play 3.
Okay. And Kingdom Hearts 3 looks awesome.
Yeah. Okay, this one is from Chocobo Chica. It's titled Go FF Yourself.
We did this already.
We did this one, yes.
Yeah.
Who did we decide we were?
I couldn't decide. You said Shadow or something like that.
Did I really say Shadow? That's
I think
so
so.
gay
I might
sounding.
be. I might be closer to Edgar. Certainly don't have the looks of Edgar, but
That's what I chose. I chose
you
Edgar.
chose Edgar?
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. I'm not Edgar. Caleb's Edgar. That's fine.
So I think
Oh man, who would I be? Am I Kefka? You think?
maybe.
Maybe I might be Kefka. I'm not sure. I thought about this question a few times since we asked it, and as far as what character we are closest to, personality-wise, I cannot come up with anything.
Yeah.
Maybe Snow.
Yeah.
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 Maybe Saz. I don't know.
I think I don't know. I could be more.
I have no idea.
I could be like a mix between Edgar and Balthier.
I don't think I have enough. I don't think I can look at myself honestly enough to decide who I was closest.
You don't
to.
think so?
No.
Jeez, why are these not moved? It pisses me off. So, all right, this one I know hasn't been talked about.
Okay.
Because this is from a newer forum member. This is the only post they have. Which Final Fantasy? This is from Remake the World. Which Final Fantasy game would make a good anime series? Did we talk about that?
No, we did not.
Well, we know which one. Okay, if they made a game based off of the anime series we have, the game would not be very good.
They did make a game based off of it.
What was that game?
It is like FF Unlimited on PC, blah, blah, blah. It's not here.
Are you kidding
It
me?
is not here in the States, so we were not playing it.
Oh, okay.
That is number one. Yes, there is a game based on the anime series that we are very slowly watching.
Very slowly.
As we all know, I hate the word anime. If you listen to the very early episodes of the show, I think it's a very dumb genre description. I don't think it works. So as far as animated television show that is based upon Final Fantasy, I think they've done anime stuff with FF7, and I thought that was interesting. Probably, yeah, I'd say FF7's coming to mind.
Yeah, you'd like to see more stuff.
Well, it's got that kind of anime design to it, so it's already kind of there.
I think it'd be cool to have more stuff on 6, just because there's not anything really other than 6 itself. I think that'd be cool.
That's true, and 6 did just kind of end. Like, it didn't...
Yeah, they
got a whole world to rebuild again.
It's true. They could make an anime. I don't think it would be that great, but it would be fun for some time. Yeah, I don't know. I'd go with that. I mean, more 7 is okay because it does lend itself to that stylistically, and there's a lot of story in 7 that you can make interesting plot lines on for a spin-off show, so to speak.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be good. And I think, I don't know, the 7 ones so far have been okay. Like, they're not bad.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't really care for Advent Children Complete. I like the original Advent. I feel like I've been misunderstood about Advent Children. I don't think it's a good movie, but I do like watching the original Advent Children, but I think Advent Children Complete is a clunky mess.
Yeah, it's got 4 intros. There's no problem with
it. It has
that.
4, yeah, and so it feels super slow. It's super clunky, and it, as far as pacing is concerned in a movie, I think Advent Children Complete did not do a very good job with that, and I don't know why that's now the official edition.
Yeah, who knows?
It's like saying the Lord of the Rings Extended Edition is the official edition, and that's just not true.
I like those.
I like them too as a fan, but not as a movie. They are not paced as well, which is exactly why they were originally edited to the length that they were.
Yeah.
This is the Lord of the Rings Extended Editions we're talking about here. They edited the movies down to where they wanted them, to where they said, this is a great movie. And then to, give fans something else, they added the scenes that they cut out later. And it wasn't like the studio was like, take those scenes out. They weren't doing that. Obviously, the movies are 3 hours long anyway.
It was a pacing thing.
It was a pacing thing, and it was about making the best movie that they could. And I think Advent Children should have and always should be the original version. And I think Complete is cool for the fans, but I don't think that Square Enix should make Complete the edition.
Yeah, it's a little late for that, though.
Yeah.
So we have one last question here today.
I know that's gonna be. I'm gonna get some flack for that. I can feel it.
Yeah, this one's from Snappa, also a new member on the forum. Welcome. He says, "FF Dream Team is the title. If you could take 3 characters from all FF titles and put them in a new FF game, who would they be?" I'm gonna limit this to main characters. I feel like we might have already done this, something similar. But it was 4 before, so now we have to whittle it away to 3.
3 characters and put them into a different FF game?
A new game.
So like a spin-off of some kind? Because they can't make a new main series with the same characters from before.
No, it'd have to be a alternate universe spin-off is what we'll put it as.
I would like to see Squall, Renoa, and Cloud.
Oh, yeah?
In like a love triangle.
That would be pretty funny, actually. I would enjoy that.
I think... I'm gonna go ahead and state that as my official answer: Squall, Renoa, and Cloud.
All right.
In some kind of love triangle plot.
All right.
Because I think there could be some interesting stuff there.
Okay, I'll do a complete bro team of the awesome characters. I'll go Orin, Barrett, and Bosch.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just like a dude fest.
What do you think they would do in that dude fest?
Get women. Dominate the world. Yeah, drink a ton. They'd break Bosch out of jail.
Get into a lot of fights.
Yeah, Bosch would get arrested a lot, and they'd find him in prison.
A lot of grunting.
Yeah.
Actually, no, because it would just be Oron doing that. But No, that is an interesting team of like the awesome
dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And then Barrett breaking the meta with his machine gun arm. Just taking out the range stuff. I think that'd be cool.
Hey, you want to pull up iTunes reviews real quick?
Yeah, we did actually get one, so I will.
Okay. So, that's a very interesting idea. So, by the way, guys, if you want to ask us FF12 related questions, please do that within these next 2 weeks on our forums, and give us your as short as you can your FF12 reviews. We'll be sure to put up a thread for those things.
Correct, yeah. And we'll move the questions to answered. God. But yeah, we're going to read those on the reviews. That's one thing we do with the FF12 questions and answers from forum members. That's the one exception we make to reading everyone's opinions.
So this UFF review on iTunes, this is from J.W. Leviathan on July 8th. Gave us 5 stars. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Says, worth the listen. Stumbled across this podcast randomly, and I have yet to find an episode that disappoints. There are other Final Fantasy podcasts, however, this one really shows the two hosts care about everything Final Fantasy related. They're also very funny, thank you very much, and quite enjoyable, thank you very much, with their on-air antics. Give them a listen. You'll not be disappointed.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
That was really kind. So... that was our 50th review. Not our 50th rating, but our 50th review on iTunes.
Yeah, that's pretty...
U.S. iTunes.
Yeah, the other ones, they never review us. But it's pretty cool. I mean, thanks a lot, guys. That's
do appreciate
it helps
that.
a lot. I mean...
So keep sending them in.
Yeah, we'll keep reading every single one of them.
That's true, we will, even if they're 1 star. Don't do
Yeah.
that. Don't you dare. No, I'm kidding. I have no control on whether or not you do that.
But as always...
No.
What?
Last week...
Oh, yeah.
We had a question.
The new segment. I forget about this.
Mm-hmm.
Questions from us to you.
That's right.
Now, this one I haven't actually looked at since the results started coming in. All right, so this question was for me, basically. It's a streaming thing. Oh, really? That one. Okay, it's... What non-FF game should I stream next on the Twitch channel? And the options were Grand Theft Auto 1, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, which is hated, Oddworld Abe's Exodus, I believe, whichever the hell the first one is, and Darksiders. And
wow,
there were a few other suggestions. One was from Magoo. He said Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, beautiful game, touching story, yada yada. And Darksiders won. There's only 7 people that cared, but
so 2 people picked Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, the first Grand Theft Auto.
2 people said Oddworld.
Okay.
And then 3 votes for Darksiders. So pretty close.
Yeah, including my own vote. I voted for Darksiders.
Oh, you voted for Darksiders?
Well,
I voted for Oddworld.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool game, and it's a game that you've probably never seen ever being played. So that would be interesting. It's a fun one. But yeah, the Darksiders I never finished, and it's one of the many, many games I own that I haven't played. So I'll be streaming that when I can, I guess.
You'll be streaming that when you can?
Yeah, I've still got a lot of 12 to be pumping through.
But do you really have a lot of 12 to be pumping through, though?
Well, the thing is I'm still trying to do the videos for the rare game. So every time I go and look at the next rare game, I've got to stop the stream, get ready for it, start the stream back up, and then do it, which sometimes takes for fucking ever because those things have a drop rate that's like, I don't even know what to compare it to. It's low. They're like, oh, 20% chance, and I do it 14 times, and then he shows up, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's like 7% max. But that's why it's taken forever. It's because one rare game took me almost 2 hours, and he didn't pop up.
Okay.
It's like an hour and a half. But after I get done with 12, I will be streaming 13, obviously, and then I'll go through Darksiders. That'll
You'll be
the other
streaming
thing.
13, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to do them all for now.
Of course you will. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to do after yours.
I can do it.
You can do it?
Mm-hmm.
You can stream a PSP?
Yes, I've seen it done.
What? How?
Yeah, I can. There's like connectors that go from the little mini USB, and I think there's one that is red, white, yellow. so I could throw it
No
into the
way,
thing.
really?
I think so. Yeah,
That's
I've
legit.
It's the game cap thing in the description. It was PS2 or no PS3, 360, PSP for streaming. Yeah, so I'm totally gonna stream the After Years. I was like, yeah, let's do that. That'd be cool. It's 4.2, whatever you want to call it. It's like the same game apparently, but yeah. So I'll do that and Crisis Core, I guess, and then the freaking fighting games. Oh god, however long those are gonna take.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, do you have a question from us to them?
I've been thinking about this for a little while, and this isn't like a big deal of a question because obviously next week's question from us to you is, what did you think of Final Fantasy 12?
Yeah.
So
I lucked
unfortunately, you get that one. But I am thinking about our Twitch stream, which a few people are actually watching this morning, which is odd. It might be because we changed what we were doing. Instead of being on Final Fantasy 1, we were on gaming talk shows, which we didn't know was a category on Twitch until very recently. I am wondering, what incentive would you need for those who don't watch the Twitch on Saturday mornings? Is there anything that we can do to make the Twitch stream a little bit more special than it is?
Okay, so a very open-end question.
Yeah, very open-ended question. I'll put it on the forum, and you guys can answer it there. If you have any ideas specifically for the Twitch stream, not saying we're going to use it, but I am saying that we will definitely look and consider what you put down.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
So, as we wrap up the show, make sure you guys give us a nice iTunes review.
Right.
You can find us at youtube.com/Ultima Final Fantasy. You can find us at Twitter at UFF Podcast. You can go to facebook.com/Ultima Final Fantasy. You can support us on Patreon. Just search Ultima Final Fantasy on patreon.com.
Yep, we give if you give us $1 a month, we'll give you all the episodes as soon as we get them mixed.
Yep.
So it's pretty sweet.
And then you can find Caleb, mostly. But you can find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Ultima Final Fantasy. And we are now going to stream these episodes. We were streaming them live, but we've decided on a time, 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Right.
So do the math as far as what your time zone is concerned. Come watch us. And we'll, of course, talk to you in between segments. And after the show, we'll talk to you for a little bit. And then, of course, all this information can be found on our website, ultimafinalfantasy.com. Make sure to join our forums where all the questions and reviews and all that other stuff is from.
All right, yeah. Well,
Okay,
I think
Caleb.
that's going to be it for us this week.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks again, and as always, enjoy the grind.
This has been another production of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast. The show was produced by Joseph DeGolier and Caleb Schleiss, with music and editing by Joseph DeGolier, parodies and clips from their respective authors, of course. You can get all of our episodes as well as our Let's Plays at ultimafinalfantasy.com. You can also contact us on Twitter at UFF Podcast, as well as our contact page on our website. Be sure to subscribe and review our podcast. Your reviews may get read on the show, and look forward to the next episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast.
All right, what we got going on in the chat here?
All right, let's see.
Okay. Can you scroll? How's it going, guys? I'm not sure if you're still watching, but let's take a look at these. Oh, man, there's some chat going on today.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, whew.
QBS, the program you use to set up your layout. Oh,
There's a program to set up your layout, huh?
yeah, there's something like that.
That's cool.
I think you'd have to restart get a new account, though. So I'm not going to do that.
You'd have to restart that?
I think that's what someone was saying.
Check it out, though.
All right, I will. Okay. OBS has scenes that you can switch between with hotkeys. So if you need to leave, you just hit a button. The stream will change to a "Be Right Back" screen or something like that. That's pretty
cool.
sweet.
Yeah.
Are we fans of Terminator 2?
Yes, we are fans of Terminator 2. Well, what's the question for?
I don't know.
Oh, James Cameron. You brought up
Yeah,
James
yeah,
Cameron
yeah,
reference in the middle of the episode. I remember. Yes, Terminator 2 is freaking awesome.
Yeah, let's see. Do you think Penny Hardaway will make it to the Hall of Fame? I have no idea what that is.
Okay. Thank you, Crinital. Morning to you.
Yes.
Which Alexander summoned? The guy in the question was about their opinion that the best summoning moment was the Final Fantasy Type 0 Alexander.
Yeah.
I said my favorite was the Alexander summoned from FF9, or one of my favorites.
Okay, too strong for spiders. When he played 7, he used to just become a true doobie king with the hybrids. What?
Okay.
Honestly, for him, the Ramu summon from the 15 demo had his jaw drop, and Ramu is always one of the more
Impressive
least
summons. Yeah, that is my favorite summon. However, it's not like a summoning moment, which I believe the question was about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he
So,
says, yes,
yeah,
Odin is killed
awesome
by
summon.
Seifer, then the ashes spawn Gilgamesh.
Ha! So it was killed by Cypher. Okay. All right.
So true. FF11, FU player. It's possible to get the mics any closer to our mouths? I don't think so.
Is that a sarcastic question?
I don't know.
The thing is, well, usually the Twitch stream is pretty freaking loud, so I'm surprised if it's not close enough. I am very surprised. But we compress it later, so the sound is just fine on our episodes on iTunes.
Yeah,
Maybe we turned it down too much.
maybe.
Yeah. See, we only need Square.
Make out with the mic. It's so easy for us. See us in Eorzea. Yes, yes, yes. World may never know. When will UFF play the remake? We shall see. Sweet, he remembers this game. Had the exact same special edition 7 years ago.
You got rid of it? Come on. When dumpster diving in GameStop, I found a whole collector's edition of Final Fantasy with Tekken 6 and a custom Xbox controller.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that is pretty sweet.
Why would they throw that away?
Is that the end of the chat?
Yeah, that's the end of the chat.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. We'll figure out what the sound problem was, if there was a sound problem.
Jesus. Dun 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 dun.
And we'll see you guys next week at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern,
Yeah.
2 p.m. 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific Time.
Yeah, and
Jesus, I can't.
the other ones.
The other time zones across North America,
Yeah.
besides Alaska. Sorry, you're screwed. Unless, do they have the same time zone as California?
They might. It might.
I
It
have
depends
no
on the
idea.
part, probably.
I'm sorry, Alaska.
Yeah, sorry.
To our
guys.
2 Alaska listeners that are
Yeah.
not watching the stream, I promise.
Yeah, yeah.